Hey, 5 4 3 2 1. Time to have some fun tonight. I got world famous global speaker, author, women empowerment specialist, especially women of color. She's in the house tonight, a good old friend of mine. We've always met like this, Dr. King. But Jackie, how you doing tonight? What a pleasure to have you on the show.
My pleasure, Gregory, to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, no, it's my pleasure because what you're doing out here from a humanitarian perspective is just phenomenal. We need more people like you who are showing up in a space where a lot of people don't want to show up. So welcome to the GG Factor tonight, where we inspire you, we empower you, we entertain you, we give you everything that you need to be a better version of yourself. And this specialist I have tonight, she's all about the empowerment of African American women, all ladies, because I know anyone shows up in her camp, she's going to inspire them and empower them. So when I stop the music, we make it official. And like I said just a few minutes ago, I make it official and say, how you doing, Dr. Jacqueline King? Welcome to the show tonight. And I'm so honored to have you. How you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. Glad to be on this side of the dirt.
Where are you located? Where are you?
I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, wow, man. My first wife, my youngest son, Jonathan's mother's, that's her hometown. I don't know if you ever heard the Kamek family also. They weren't an electronic company there, but yeah, spent a lot of time in my life in and out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. My first marriage was 21 years, and I got a wonderful, incredible son from that marriage. And anytime you mention Fort Wayne, I can't help but think about my son. So I had no idea that was your locale. Well, I'm down here in sunny South Florida. It's not so sunny right now because I tell you, we're getting a bang bang theory. It's kicking out there right now. I just got back myself, man, from an incredible week off. And actually, my granddaughter graduated high school, and I'm just see my brother up there in Tampa and my son up there in family in Tampa. Florida is my home. So welcome to the show tonight. I'm excited to have you here, as I said, because I'm looking over I don't even know where to start with a resume like yours, Doctor.
You're so funny.
You are literally incredible. Dr. Jacqueline King, man, listen, she put a bunch of years in for the largest electric company in New Jersey. Back in 2011, she kicked off and founded Black Women Empowered Incorporated. I mean, man, she was on the council for the mayor of Newark, New Jersey's Diversity Council. I mean, she's done so many things. Dr. King has received numerous awards and certificates of appreciation, including the YMCA New Jersey, the Minority Achievers Award in 2001 for community service and professionalism. I could go on and on and on. She has a bachelor's degree, just like I do, in business administration. I knew it was something about us in common. Where did you get your undergraduate? I went to FAMU. Where did you go, Doctor?
College of New Jersey.
Nice. So I would assume then you're a native New Jerseyan. That's where you're born?
I am.
Excellent. Well, I went to FAMU down in Tallahassee, got my undergraduate in business under the world famous Dr. Mobley School of Business, and got my master's degree back in Miami and went into teaching. I see you got a master's of science in Christian counseling, an honorary doctorate in humanities, and a doctorate in the philosophy of Christian counseling. So for me, that's my segue. You seem to be just definitely unequivocally religiously based, spirit based, and I love it. So what is your why? That's my first question always. Why are the Black women in power? Why the movement from such a humanitarian perspective, especially from the perspective of spirit? Talk to me tonight, Doctor.
Well, it really started when I was watching the first Black Girls Rock on TV.
Okay.
And I was on Facebook, like we all were, and everybody was excited and everybody was typing Black Girls Rock, Black Girls Rock. So after that, I believe that God spoke to me and said, so what happens after the show? Do Black girls still rock? And out of that, Black Women Empowered was born on in a group on Facebook with just 200 women. That group still exists with 200,000 women in it.
That is
and it just kept growing.
Wow. I asked you
really,
that
question. The basis was really to have women to first have a relationship with God, to love themselves and love and support one another. That's the foundation.
Excellent. Well, I was about to ask you a question and you answered a little earlier before we were actually live, and I actually just hit my other screen over there on IG. All the platforms got you tonight. Facebook, IG got you. LinkedIn, we're all live tonight. But you said something to me that was really a game changer, that you were one of the first voices and faces on Facebook And what year was that? That's going way back.
So I believe in 2012 is when they started Facebook Live. So we started as soon as it was available. But see, before that, we did Blog Talk Radio, we did Periscope. So we just evolved with the platforms.
Wow, man. You know, I'm a new kid on the block with all this social media stuff. I told you I'm trying to just grow up and be like you, doctor, because you're rolling in it. And I really, really, really admire anyone who has the tenacity and the audacity to function in that capacity. I call it my tack attack, because for you, you decided to step out of the box. You're empowering African American women. You're doing something that a lot of people just dare not to even step out of the box and do. So, you spend most of your professional life in service arena. I mean, which probably has been just out of the box one of your greatest accomplishments from a humanitarian perspective. Now that you telling me, well, we're talking about what, 14 years on Facebook. You're saying you got over 1 million followers, and I'm sure the heterogeneous nature of what you're doing. What would be one of those things I could say that wow, that would give me the wow effect from what you've been doing?
So many. So I've served on many boards, but I would say right now I'm serving on the Community Harvest Food Bank, and I've always had food insecurity has always been something that really was near and dear to my heart. I have a nonprofit as well, Black Women Empowered Safe Haven. So, really just making sure that people have something to eat every night, because to me,
Mhm.
in a place like United States, I don't believe that there should be anybody who has to wonder where their next meal is going to come from.
Hello. Well, with the existing administration and the kind of things that are going on, some seem to feel a little contrary. I'm a 31-year retired teacher, and my arena was the special needs population. So
Hmm.
everything that you're talking about, I probably encountered so many of those, should I say, just incidents with hunger, abuse, negligence, apathy regarding education and parenting. And as a special needs teacher, there's an organization called Best Buddies I'm very close to. Matter of fact, I've been retired now 3 years. And one of the most important reasons why I stopped to do what I'm doing now is because teaching was so important to me, but I love what someone like you is doing. So for all these arenas, all the things you're doing, and when you mentioned feeding people, housing people, I have a nonprofit also called the Personal Empowerment Recognition Program, PERP. But my son up there, Greg Griffith Jr. in Tampa, Florida, for about almost 11 years himself, has had a food bank, Dr. King, in Tampa, Florida. And I had the
Mm.
honor only on a couple of times, but one occasion that I went up, and it was on a special Monday that it was during COVID and things were really, really bad. And man, it just really touched me to see my son, you know, his mom, man, my granddaughter, everybody, the people just pulling up to the church, the trunks open. You could see the need, the despair, and they serviced them. So I applaud you that you would tell me what you've done is probably one of the most important things that anybody would want to do. So I would probably ask you another question too that's very important to me. There have been a lot of excessive cutbacks and assistance for minorities. Our administration just seems to have a mindset where, I don't know, I guess women adapting, minorities adapting, people of color adapting. How have you been able to counter that? How you are you still actually doing the food bank? Are you still in the position with your nonprofit for those services as we speak right now?
Well, Community Harvest is a very large food bank. We serve about 1,600 people every Saturday. Can drive through the line. So we are still thriving. We have a Carmen Cumberland is our CEO. As a matter of fact, I was with her earlier. Um, a great board. We have a great board and very, very resourceful, powerhouse people on the board. So we make it work. Grants, a lot of donations. We get a lot of donations, and the community really wraps their arms around us and raises the TV stations raise money. We get money from everywhere. So
Yes,
we have
excellent.
been very fortunate at Community
Yes.
Harvest.
Well, Community Harvest. May God's blessings continue to be upon you for that, because it's such a need. It's such a need. We're, like I say, things are very fragile right now. We know from an economic perspective, when we're talking about COLA, the cost of living allowance and what people are dealing with, it is it is just a blessing that you said 1,600 people every Saturday.
Mm-hmm. We're
That
actually serving more than we did when COVID.
mm,
If you could even believe that, yeah.
no, no, no. It speaks volumes that you have a service. We all know success comes from one or two things or both. You either create a product or you deliver a service or both if you want to be some level of success in this country. And especially when it comes to me always talking about monetizing the passion. And Dr. King, it just sounds to me like your passion is just growing. And I know it's not easy to get sponsorships and for you to still have an arena where you're feeding some well over what 6,000 people monthly
Well,
every
it's
month.
not me
That,
now.
you
It is.
know,
It is. I'm on the board, but
hey,
Community Harvest has been around for a long time. But I serve on the board, and to me, that is very rewarding.
but at the end of the day, you're part of a unique cohort, and may you continue to just be in that arena doing what you're doing. I know you're very faith based, and I love that about you. Were your parents religious? Were are you a pastor's kid, or what was the, should I say, the activating factor to lean more into the religious component than quote unquote the norm?
So my grandfather was a pastor in the Church of God in Christ for 70 years,
Your
and
grandfather was a pastor.
yes, and so it was inevitable that somebody was going to carry the torch, but we
Got it.
all it's in all of us,
Now
because
you
that's
see,
what we knew. So
there's a guy named
yes.
Paul Harvey. And now you get the whole story. You get the whole. I just sense that. A couple of weeks ago, Dr. Patricia Barrington was on the show. She and I met under the same circumstances like you and I, but it was with a different mentor, James Malinchak, about 2 or 3 years ago. And she so impressed me. I was very happy to just have been in the same counter group with her, the same mentorship. And, she's on the same mission. Her husband was a minister. He passed away some years back. She said she was going to keep carrying the torch for him, and she's never let go. Her story was so compelling. If you get a moment, her episodes on my episodes back there, Dr. Pat Barrington. But what's very interesting about her, and I know you have. I think you say you have 2 children and you have 3 grandchildren, and there was a very interesting scenario around Dr. Barrington. She has this one daughter, and you kind of bring it up. It makes you wonder what happens in the external world when you come up in an environment religiously based. And her daughter got up, and by the time she got to middle school, exit stage left, became an atheist. Don't believe in nothing her mom was telling her
Mm-hmm.
all those years. And she lived to tell. This lady's been to 108 countries. So that is why I'm saying that when someone can still stay on the track like you, doctor, and you can believe in it, because you know something, where I was Sunday morning? Gregory Griffith was in Tampa, Florida, and I was in church.
All right, praise
Yes,
the Lord.
sir. I was in church in Tampa, and I was in the church where I was baptized. And this church is a milestone historic place, well over 100 years old, of the New Mount Zion in Tampa, Florida. And man, you walk in the church when you were a 10-year-old and got baptized, and it still looked the same up there, man. I had a moment.
I
And
know that's
shout
right.
out to Reverend Roundtree there. Just, oh man, I took my brother there, Nelson Griffith. It kind of welled me up because my brother's 84 years old. He's dealing with
Mm.
a cancer that's metastasized. He's spreading. And, but you know what happened? It's relevant to this conversation. Dr. Patricia Barrington called me up a week later. I was thanking her like I'm thanking you for being on the show, just a general chat. I said, wow, man, thank you. She loved the AI clips and things like that. She said, I asked her about my brother when we finished the show a couple of weeks ago. I said, my brother needs some prayer. Could you just kind of just put a prayer in for him? We stopped. We went into prayer. Man, I got to Tampa. My brother's cancer cells reduced by 30%.
Oh wow.
Just blew me
Won't he
away,
do it?
man. Oh man. And when she
That's
and you know
awesome.
something, I thought she just kind of said she would do that in passing. You know, everybody's got their life and their agenda. And when she said that to me, that I prayed for your brother Nelson, woo! It was a chill factor. And then I come to Tampa. This is like a week later. I'm there for my granddaughter's graduation. I take my brother to church Sunday, go over, pick him up, put him in his wheelchair, you know, do the whole nine caretaker yards I needed to. And then Reverend Roundtree acknowledged my brother. My mother was the most elder person in that church. She died two days before her 99th birthday. She took me to that church, and Reverend Roundtree acknowledged my brother Nelson, and it was like this you know, it was just a great time in the name of the Lord. And when that lady told me she prayed for my brother, and I get to tell her not knowing anything but what was pre-existing, you know, Dr.
Mhm.
King, and to get that, that's why I say I applaud you, what you're doing, the arena that you're in. And I tell people all the time, man, that nothing in the external world can be greater than the power within you, you know. And have you made any should I say, uh, what I say, long-term thoughts about getting into ministry yourself?
So my network is ministry.
Mm.
What we do and we're doing for 15 years, if you look at it, we do encouragement. We have prayer. We have a prayer every day. I do a prayer every day.
I see it.
The women and men on my Facebook page, they come on live in prayer. So it is ministry.
Wow, wow. I, I every now and then I'll pop in. Even if you saw the promo that I sent you, I acknowledge that she's so powerful on LinkedIn. Every now and then, if I'm posting something up, you populate because I'm following you, and I'll stop. And I want to thank you for being able to, I mean, just share your arena that way. And honestly, I'm getting so much education from you tonight. I had no idea that you're like one of the pioneer people who broke the ice on Facebook and making all these things happen, that to the point that you're a firm believer and you're doing it, you're making it happen. Now, I want to segue just for a minute. You know, we're only about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes in. You know, I didn't get to read your book, but oh boy, my sister, you know, I love the idea that you said, you know, your network is your net worth, and you know, what was the etiology of that? What was the catalyst for that, Doctor? What made you feel like that? Was it your experiences with the networking arena? Talk to me about. Tell us about your book first and foremost, and what was, like I say, the etiology of why you decided to come with that subject.
Well, I mean, when you have a passion for something, and my passion is networking, and so we have 4 million followers on Facebook, 300,000 on LinkedIn, and 19,000 on TikTok, and 90,000 on Instagram. That's a network. That's a huge network. So God
Huge,
has gifted me to be able to network, and so I decided to put it in writing because everyone wants to know, how did you do this? How did you make this happen?
right?
So,
I guess it is very definitive when you say that value-based communications. You know, that was almost like a coined term from your the little synopsis of your reading. When I went over to Amazon and took a look at, you know, like an overview of what your book was about. You know, I mean, what does it mean to define your network? If I was to ask you that question right now, because it sounds to me like you clearly you got the blueprint. You know, did you say 4 million people on Facebook?
that's correct.
Please, man. What was your blueprint? Do you think it was because it's religious based? Do you think it was because of that SMART acronym that you got? I was looking for that because I love that acronym for the word SMART. It is just specific. What is it? Specificity is something without being tongue tied. That first one there. What was it? Measurability, achievability. What was it? Relevance, and I know the last one's about time. No, TC. I did a little homework on you, my sister. I didn't just sit
Well,
around and wait till we could
that's
show up.
good. So really, basically, to sum it up, you don't want everybody in your network. I mean, let's be real about it. I'm talking about not just, I'm not just talking about social media now. Some people don't belong in your network. You have to analyze who should be and who should not be in your network, because everybody that wants to be connected with you should not be connected with you,
Mm,
because it's a two networking is a two-way street. And I'm good for talking to people wherever I go, and I have a
mhm.
digital card. They can scan my card. So if you're meeting people, they have to know that you're concerned about them, as well as if they have something that you want. People ask me, and I don't know if you know, I work for Dr. Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's father. And people's like, well, how did you do that? We met on LinkedIn. Now,
Look
we
at that.
did get our PhD from the same school,
Uh-huh.
and his cousin and I are friends. We're all connected like that. But I basically sent him a message on LinkedIn, and it turned into a long term friendship, a business, and now I work for him.
Look at
That's
that.
what networking will do for you. But if you don't get out there and you are afraid of a no, then it's not going to work.
See, you know something? Here's what's so powerful about what you're saying. Maybe it's time for me to segue anyway. Every Thursday night, I have my master class, and it's the Strive Master Class on relationships. The who, what, when, where, and what is your why relationships. Who's in your life? What are you doing with them? How often? When are you doing it? Where are you doing it? And I talk to people about it a lot. It's funny you mentioned Matthew Knowles, because I had the pleasure of meeting him when I mean Beyonce was crazy in love. Okay, and so to meet him. Uh, I'm in the entertainment business. You may know or not know anything about my background other than me showing up on Israel Duran's platform, but I'm still in the entertainment business. I work 4 and 5 star country clubs in South Florida and all over the country, all over the world. Actually, I've traveled globally with what I'm doing. And I talk to people so much about that it's exactly what you're talking about. Create your network, get out there. I went to Atlanta, Georgia. My record label was just formed back in 2006 when this happened. And the singer that was with me back then, who still sings with me, would be on stage with me in another one of these beautiful country clubs Friday night. Rachel Brown had a number 1 single in Billboard, and I got to meet Beyonce's dad through exactly what we're talking about. I made it my business. I knew who he was, and he was one of the platform presenters. They have those pull out sessions and all that, and it was one of those a Billboard music conference, and I'll never forget the conversation he had with everyone uh, in the overall forum of it, and I took it back, and within 6 to 8 weeks, we pushed our singer Rachel Brown to number 1 in Billboard CD singles, and to this day, just totally concurring with what you're saying, because at the end of the day, you said LinkedIn. You're still there on LinkedIn. I still see you every morning. I'm building my brand little by little by little, doing the same things that, when we're off the air, I'm sure I'm going to have some more straight up conversations with you, because I'm honestly telling you that, we had a few conversations here and there just through our forum with Israel, but, I'm just so, should I say, man, just appreciative of what you've done, Dr. King. I know that when anyone decides from a humanitarian perspective to do what they're doing, how they're doing it, to utilize the platform for networking like you've done, it truly is interesting. But I heard you say something too that I probably can echo. Everybody's not going to be someone that'll be in your arena, and I don't know how long it took you to finally realize that, like maybe you probably at one point where I am now, just trying to get numbers, trying to get people in, trying to open the door. So what would you tell people the most important things that we take away? But I gave an unconditional plug about your book on the shout out today. I'm telling people all about it. I read just enough to know that I'm definitely going to support you and get it myself, because I think what you're speaking about from a networking perspective, you have a unique cohort of people that you're dealing with, and you're making it work. So what would be probably, from that smart perspective, the thing that you would want people to get your book, come into your social media? What would you say would be one of the most important parts about the networking component?
Well, I mean, we all need a network. I mean, if you're in business, and what I tell people is social media is not going anywhere.
Nope.
Um, And the problem with us is most of the time, even with AI, with Facebook, by the time us as a people got on Facebook, they had moved on to Instagram. We're always behind. You need to catch it. Like AI is not even new. I mean, people are just starting to gravitate to it, but it's been around for a while. And still, people are afraid of AI, but you're going to miss a lot of opportunity by not networking. And to me, LinkedIn is the best place for business people. Facebook is okay, but Facebook is more like, you want to see what somebody's doing, you want to post about your kids. I mean, I post business on there too, but make no mistake about it, LinkedIn is the place. If you don't have your network, your profile on LinkedIn, you're losing money.
Hmm.
That's a fact.
So very interesting. I took away three principal reasons why to define your network from your book, and you talked about clarity and focus. You talked about the power of intention, and you talked about time and energy. And I really grasped that. I grasped that for me personally. That's why I said to you, I was just trying to get some etiology about you, some info for this talk tonight. But I was well educated in just a matter of minutes that she's speaking true. See, what you're speaking about right now is all internet based, and I'm talking about right now. See, people, one thing that's of a negative perspective that people don't understand, because I wrote about it in one of my books. It was actually about this one. It's on time management and peak performance, where as much as technology has helped us, it was so funny today too. I looked up on CNN and they had this big title there. Well, what is AI doing to help? But is it also making brain functioning weaker? And that becomes a sort of a question that's a giant hypothesis there for anyone to set up a platform around. Because, see, when I was a kid, I don't know your age, I know my age, but I know when I was a kid, there was nothing but you got to get out there through word of mouth. You got to really be a social interactive person. In other words, your social interpersonal skills are critically important to self-development, personal development. So you're speaking a lot from the perspective of social media. How are you how are you dealing with that in the arena of reality of one to one, people in interviews, people dealing in that kind of arena? How does
See that
does your book address that?
that's what the misconception is. Social media, the people on social media are real people. Whether you meet them in person or you meet them on social media and then you meet them in person, they're still real people. They are still valid connections. That's where people make mistakes. They're just like, oh, that's just social media. But no, you have, you know, big high profile people that are on social media that you can connect with, people that you would across the world that you would otherwise never meet. You cannot separate networking from social media.
See, the difference in what you and I are discussing, to make sure I can differentiate for quantifiable reasons. No matter what you're doing on that internet, nothing's going to change when I meet you in person and we have this person to person human interaction. A lot of people still have been so, should I say, man, blurred, the hidden obscurities behind what it feels like in a real interview versus someone being on a Zoom or being in a chat, or like you said, just being in that internet arena, which is great. And I totally concur with you, but I think we're losing something. I walked out of my door the other day to go for a walk, and I went up to the corner, and the group of middle schoolers were getting ready to go to school, and everybody was just doing this. Not nobody conversing, talking, interacting with each other. I finished my last 11 years here at West Broward High School in West Broward County, where I still live in Pembroke Pines. And this was the absolute quantifiable truth. And that's why I know what you're saying is the truth. And I'm not saying anything other than I wonder to what extent if that's going to be a benefit and detriment when it really comes down to the human factor. I will walk to school, get out of my car, turn left to go toward the cafeteria or coming on campus, early mornings before the first bell. And man, hundreds, just a long just line of little young kids, nobody doing nothing but this.
Yeah, but we're not even talking about the same thing. I'm talking about meeting people who you can have a conference with, who you can have, coffee with, or fly out to meet them, or whatever. I'm not talking about staying on the internet. I'm talking about your initial connections that you would not meet this person had they not been on the internet. I'm not
Oh,
you're
definitely.
talking about the kids playing on the phones and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about building real relationships
Right.
that may start on the internet, that they don't have to stay on the internet.
No, no, not at all. And I'm on using that as an example and make sure I clarify that what Gregory Griffith is saying is that when the time comes for people, speaking of our young ones, let's face it, I was a high school teacher for 31 years. And by the time I did finally, even myself get past the I don't even want to call it nothing but the fear factor of dealing with technology back in 1992, with this little all-in-one that Steve Jobs had there, little computer, and dealing with that it definitely is a great tool. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be obviously clearly utilizing every single, like you say, for clarity and purpose, for intentions, for all the things that you talked about regarding your time and your energy. You are absolutely right. See, one thing I'm not saying is nothing you're not saying is right, but then there's that hidden obscurity. There's that place where, man, there seemed to be this lost element with people, and I noticed that even as a teacher in the classroom with kids, and their ability to just even stand up and stand in front of the class, or even have an ability, you know what I mean, to have that natural human ability to just interact that way, versus there being, like we got right now, a technology liaison in between us. So I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know if it ever will. My granddaughter graduated high school, and she's into IT. So I'm totally with you on it. I'm just wondering, what are the chances that they're talking about a lot of AI replacing, jobs and all kind of things like that. But it is of great benefit. So for me, I say to people, still get out there, man. Interact with people personally, have a conversation sometimes, and make sure that you understand that we're still human.
Well,
No
we're basically saying the same thing. I'm not saying to stay communicating on. I'm talking about connecting initially, and that's what I've said. That's what the book is about, building relationships. You're not going to meet somebody maybe in Japan or South Africa, whatever,
Mhm.
if you unless you go there. But you can meet them on social media, and then if you decide that you want to move forward, that's when the intentional comes in. Then
Yes.
you make those arrangements to meet in person or do business. But this is a great tool
Oh,
to
yes.
meet people.
Yes,
And I'm not,
absolutely.
I don't think that it should take the place of anything, but whether anybody likes it or not, it's not going anywhere.
Oh, no,
it's
no,
it's not
not at
it's
all.
going to continue to evolve. AI today, we don't know what it'll be next, but it's always going to be evolving. I remember when AOL was dial up. Remember when you had to listen to that.
Right, 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 right. Wow.
We've come a long way.
No, a long, long way. What I admire about you, though, Dr. Jacqueline King, is that you adapted. You took the pivot. You dived into this whole arena of what's going on with the internet, with technology. It sounds like you're very technology driven.
I
You know,
am.
and it's very interesting that with your doctorate and your master's degrees are in the area of ministry, of spirit, of religious background, and like you said, you're still, so what's on the horizon for you? What's the next move from the perspective of spirit and growth? And what do you is there a new book in that arena coming up? I want you
No, this book hasn't been out that long. What
oh,
I plan on doing is doing some speaking engagements, some book
Mhm.
signings. I really haven't delved into it the way I want to, because working for Dr. Knowles, we're right in the middle of the Destiny's Child Reimagined tribute that is touring in Chicago and Houston and DC and LA. I believe it is LA. But so yeah, right now my time is really spent on focusing on that, getting the tickets sold. I do the social media. I do all of his social media.
Oh, that is excellent. Yeah, like I
So
said, you're unveiling so much to me in this one little conversation, and I'm just in awe, you know. So so Destiny's Child is reuniting for a tour with
no,
Beyonce.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Listen, now listen to what I'm
yeah.
saying. They're not. What
Okay.
he did is it's a candlelight tribute. So it
Okay.
is instrumental, all instrumental to candles. And you go and hear the music. They play the Destiny's Child music. The people sing. They have food. They have VIP tickets where you can actually go in and meet Dr. Knowles himself. He narrates it, tells different things that you wouldn't ordinarily know. It's not like anything. I've been to two of them. It's not like anything that I've ever been to. And it's also going to be in Detroit. You can go to destinychild.com and see all the dates, but it really is a great experience. Something that we typically, well, I never even heard of it before him,
No,
honestly. But
no,
they've been doing those candlelight concerts for a long time. Fever does them, and so he's really doing it, and it's going very well.
very interesting. Very, very interesting. You know, and it's kind of something I'm probably going to, like I say, probably have some conversation with you because he's a good friend of mine. He's an incredible songwriter, self-contained producer, and I know that we're going to be moving his music around because I'm, 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 here doing the live performance thing that I still do, but behind the scenes, I'm definitely about music publishing. Placing songs with people who are out there looking. And this guy Ezra Sanders is just an incredible artist, and it would be really, really great to embrace some of the strategic ways that you're using the platforms to reach. Like you say, it's global. Like what we're doing tonight. We all know that this episode will be up. People can know who you are, what you do, what I am, what I do. So I trust me. There's been no conflict of interest about anything that you're saying from the perspective about the AI arena, uh, the technology IT arena, the future of it, where it's going. One of my virtual assistants and people that work with me, man, he came to breakfast one day with me, and we were doing a few reels and connecting, and it blew me away that he stood outside and he hit the button, and his Tesla just pulled up,
Oh yeah.
and he jumped in it, and I was like, oh boy. I don't know if I'm still ready for, like, they're already putting diesels out on the road, replacing humans and vehicles of that kind of magnitude. I don't know. It's kind of, but like you said, whether we like it or not, it's here. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be around for, I mean, really, really, it ain't never going anywhere. If anything, that's why I think, and make sure you understood me when I saw that little brief thing there on CNN. I just happened to walk in and looked up at it, and it was saying, "Wow, is this AI arena making it? I just like Google did for a long time. Now it's AI. People don't really have to do anything but click a name in. They don't have to remember phone numbers anymore. They don't see that part of it is what they were exploring. That is it it's a two-edged sword there. You know what I mean? Kind of like from that perspective of cognitive ability. We all know you're only using about what is it, 10% of the brain on a regular basis. There's so much more room for expansion. And speaking of that, I always give my company a plug for this Thursday night. If you're looking to take your life to the next level on Thursday nights, we're there to help you find your pain points on Thursday nights. The master class is about personal development in mind, body, and spirit. I'm a big advocate of alignment. A lot of people don't know, but I always just take one and hold it up. It's one of my medals. I'm a 25-time marathoner. And for me, I tell people I didn't even start running marathons until I was, 43 years old. And the old field master, Dr. King, was hit me in the head. You too old, man. You can't do it. I was already a full-time teacher. And I walked out my classroom, and here's the point about passion, purpose, and possibilities on Thursday nights. We help you realize that with your passion, you find your purpose, you can find the alignment. You'll always never have to worry about getting paid because you'll do something. You'll either develop a product or a service that someone will always want out there. And for me, the fact that I can still do what I'm doing, the only reason why I don't even run any more than the 25 marathons I ran is because I had a knee surgery. But it helped me to maintain my physical stature, my physical me. It helped me there. And I tell people, you are mind, body, and spirit. Your health is your wealth. So, and no matter what you're doing here from a cognitive perspective, no matter what you're doing physically, the doctor here is an advocate of it. You got to nurture your spirit. So I don't know, in your empowerment sessions, I know you've made it a very specific thing to empower women of color. I want you to talk a little bit more about BWE and what's going on with it right now. Tell people how they can get involved. And if I know it's Black Women Empowered, but are you just open to anyone of color or anyone that's a female or anyone that wants to be a part of your organization?
Well, anyone can follow us on any of our pages.
Mhm.
Um, but we do have an online business directory that's doing very well, which is called blackwomenempowereddirectory.com. You can go in there right now until June. You can join a lifetime for $50, which is going to go away in June. So if you're going to go in there, I would suggest that you go in there before June 30th because the price will be going up July 1st. We have a lot of business people in there. As a matter of fact, Dr. Knowles is in there. We have doctors, lawyers, all kind of people in there. And what makes it so great is not only do they get the opportunity to be seen by our millions of followers, but they can network with each other as well. So go over to blackwomenempowereddirectory.com and check us out. If you feel so led to join,
Mhm.
now is a good time to get in there.
Wow, I love it. Uh, a brother going to take you up on that one because it sounds like you got a very diverse network of people
We
coming
do.
together under that umbrella. I can't call the man's name right now, and I'm sure you. Is it Hopkins? What is this man's name that's doing a whole lot from the for financial networking that he's
Yeah,
doing?
I know you're talking about the millionaire. I just don't remember
Yeah,
his
I
name,
can't
but I
call
know
his
what you're
name.
talking about.
He's just like someone like yourself, though. He talked about how much he's just been able to, like you say, put tentacles on his reach from this whole thing with social media and what's going on with it. So, you said the book is fairly new to you. How long ago was this book actually released? When did you drop it?
Probably 5 months.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow, that is great. Well, I tell you, man, you've got the right idea about why networking is so. I love that your your network is your net worth, and I mean, I totally concur with you. I've met so many people the same way like you, via this arena, and hey, I'm sure we probably met Israel Duran the same way, or did you know him outside of this arena as far as the social
I don't
media?
even know who that is.
Okay.
I really don't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's funny because I'm trying to think if I've been on a couple of platforms where you were there, and I'm trying to think because it was we came into this class. Well, who are some of the other mentors that I mean you work with and been on platforms with there? If it's someone that it's got to be someone that I knew that's how I met you.
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know. I know so many people, but that person I don't know. But I mean,
interesting.
I've been
But,
interviewed by a ton of people, so I don't know.
oh,
I've
no,
been
no,
in
you know
quite a
something.
few magazines. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, the interesting thing for me, wow, because there is a Jackie King, that was in the network, the Mastermind Network with Israel Duran, and
Wasn't me.
it's really funny, man, because well, then that means the way I met you was exactly what you're talking about, Doctor, because her name is exactly yours, the same
You
one,
reached out to me on LinkedIn. I know how we met. I wasn't in
exactly.
any network,
Right,
and my point has been made.
wow, you're right. You can validate it, you can quantify it, and you are absolutely right. I watched a few of your prayers that came up daily. I see, and here I am because the names are the same. I hope you follow me clearly because the names are exactly the same. I said, well, man, and you know the funny thing about it, when I start to see your pictures, I say she looks a lot different than when I saw her no,
Because it
no.
wasn't me.
But you see my point? It's the funny. This is so good because you are now utilizing you and I as a clear example of the power of LinkedIn. Because I really did, seriously speaking, and my deepest apologies for any miscommunication about who you are or what you are, because the names are exactly the same, and that's why,
It's
and
a
that is
common
why
name.
what's the funny part about it? When I did respond to you on LinkedIn, it was under the mindset, my paradigm was totally about the Jackie that I knew. But look what God did. Look what God did. You see what I mean?
And
So,
God did do it, because let me tell you what, half of the inboxes I don't even answer because I get so many. So God really did do it.
hello. That's it. And I'm speaking truth to you, man. This has been out of sight. I knew that you would be the kind of guest that you actually have been. I don't know if I looked over anything that I would have wanted to talk to you about. I'm trying to. I told you I had my little talking points just to, if I came up with something that might have been relevant. I don't think I got a clear answer with you regarding. So for you to have your master's degree in this and your doctorate in Christian-based science in that type of Scientology, I say that type of religion. What really? But by the time you decided, hey, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do. But you're not an ordained minister, right? You're saying or you
I'm a
do.
chaplain.
Oh, okay. And your work, have you taught in any schools or anywhere with your doctorate, with your master's
No,
degree?
I have, my focus has been BWE, but I counsel people. So I don't do it for a job. I do it for ministry. So people come to me either in LinkedIn or wherever they are, or if I see them out, whatever. And I provide free counseling. I don't charge for it.
That is excellent. That segues to another question I have for you. Are there any live webinars, anything going on with you, any workshops, any events that you got coming up, or looking to target around what you're doing in the ministry and what you're doing with the your network is your net worth, or anything on the horizon for that? You may want to, while I'm giving you the platform right now, once again, so you can answer that question, but also I'd like for you to let everyone know how to reach you, your websites, what you're doing and where you are on social media, so that people will have this and they maybe come to my site, Gregory the Activator, and click on your episode and get a whole lot of education, because you are so, should I say, quantifiably powerful about the arena of social media and what it's done, because you're an original. You're an
Thank
original.
you.
I'm going to say this. I applaud you because you found it early on with Facebook. You took the pivot right over to LinkedIn, and Dr. Robert Lemon. I don't know. You may see him on LinkedIn too. I don't do you know him at all? He's another one that tells me all the time, Greg, man, that LinkedIn really helped me, man. I say, okay, I got you. So I'm going to take heed to it and really do that. But are there any things coming up that I want to not get away from that main question about any live events, anything, or either Zoom events that you might be putting on regarding your book or your ministry?
Well, the biggest thing that I have now, and I want everybody to know, is the Destiny's Child iconic reimagined tribute. So
Mm,
what that is Dr. Knowles is giving the girls their props for being the number one girls group of all time, and he's doing these tributes. After this wraps up, he's going to do a tribute to Beyonce and Earth, Wind, and Fire. But I would say go to destiny'schild.com and check it out. See if it's coming to your city. Get your tickets. VIP sells very fast because with that you get to meet Dr. Knowles. For me, if you go to blackwomenempowereddirectory.com, you can get to all of our social media pages from there. They're at the bottom. And so if you want to follow us, we're on TikTok, we're on Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and we actually have like five Facebook pages. But what you don't know is that I also started Black Men Empowered. That's on Facebook too. We have about 50,000 people that follow that page, and
And what page is
have
that again? Could you say that
Black
one again?
Men Empowered. I started
Mm,
that too. It's on Facebook.
wow. Well, I got a lot of homework to do, man. You make me feel like I need to do like this. Shame on you, G.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that the men that are running that, because I mean I got my plate full. They do
Yes.
have some things coming up. They're going to do a forum for June, which is men's mental health. They're going to do a forum for that. The main characters or the main gentlemen are in Atlanta, so they're going to do some stuff in Atlanta. But yeah, we do have Black Men Empowered. We have Black Girls Empowered also on Facebook. We have Black Women Empowered New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, DC, Chicago. Oh gosh, I can't even remember all of Michigan.
No, you
So
on
we're pretty, and we have
yeah.
over 60,000 women that follow us from South Africa. We have women in St. Thomas, Uganda, and Kenya.
Wow. You're on a roll. I applaud you. I'm just going to say that you just keep doing what you're doing. I spoke about you as an empowerment specialist. I've spoken about you as a woman on a mission for humanitarian causes, and now that you've unveiled the level of, what do I say, diversity, the heterogeneous nature of what you're doing. You are worthy of, oh man, all the applause I can give you. You're always welcome here. And can't believe we've been at this about an hour like nothing. I knew it would be a night like this, but I just feel like I met someone I didn't know. And the reason that I can say that is because it's the truth. Can you imagine my paradigm had me and you connected through someone else with your name, but then I'm connecting with you on LinkedIn? That's what's so relevant to this. I'm connecting with you on LinkedIn, and I'm still thinking this is the Jackie King that I met. And then when I start to see your pictures, I'm gonna be candid. I say she looks a lot different than the Jackie that showed up with Israel Duran. And I thought I'm just thinking all along, because you never said until this show that you had nothing to do with Israel Duran. See, and
Well, I didn't even. You never mentioned Israel Duran, and I don't know who Israel Duran is.
yeah, even if you listen to
Excuse
some of
me.
the promo I did and that little reel I did today, me saying that's how we were connected. I'm still until this conversation tonight, my mindset was in that direction. But one thing I'll say to people: this is a powerful woman. I'm gonna start my music and end this show, but I
But
want
wait
to
a
end.
minute. One more
Yeah.
thing. I want to answer one question that I didn't.
Oh,
We do not discriminate. We primarily focus on Black women because Black women are underserved,
exactly.
disrespected,
Yep.
and but we that is not to say that anyone can join our directory, anyone can follow us. We are God focused, and so God loves everybody.
You know something? I want to say this to you. If you notice in every single one of the plugs, anything that I've done, I called you a what? An empowerment specialist for women. I never ever said I'm just gonna narrow her down to the cohort of just Black women, even though I know that's your primary platform, that's your foundation, the blueprint. And for what you just said, let me tell you something. I said it again, and I don't care if I seem redundant. We need more of you, especially for women, period, but especially when you narrow the scope for of color. I spent the whole week with my two sisters. And I told them, I don't know if they're going to come tonight or if I can get them to come to this episode later. And my sister Ruby Baker who was my lead singer. Can you imagine this, Dr. King? At 12 years old, when we formed our first band together. Wow. My oldest childhood friend, I'll be going back to Tampa in a couple of weeks because of what I tell people all the time. We formed our first band together. He passed away, but he was my first, real like great friend in 4th grade. And I tell people, and we connected through music. We found our common ground through music. You know, my family had a nightclub in Tampa, and seeing my sister going home, my brother who was like the guy who spearheaded it all for us. You know, I went to see the Michael Jackson movie, and I tell you, man, a lot, I flash back a lot about the hustle, the grind, what it really takes when you're in that arena of the entertainment industry, because it is a monster. You know, like anything in life, but certain arenas, certain platforms of what we do as far as that product and that service that I was talking about can be quite challenging. And the advent of technology has not made that easier. It's made it a lot harder because of, yeah, we're talking about AI a lot. I'm sure you've seen the arena where people go in and use AI and mimic somebody else and come up with their intellectual property and literally can literally hold on to the property because of the way they created it. So we got a lot of, let's say, mixed emotions on the advantages versus the disadvantages. But I want to accentuate the advantages tonight. And you and I are clearly an example of that. If it wasn't for LinkedIn, I probably wouldn't have you on the show. And honestly,
no, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I'm clearly telling you that I wouldn't. And that for me is just so powerful for everybody. If you take nothing home from this, please do hear Dr. Jacqueline King when she says go out and get her book.
Wait a minute, I got my book right here.
Yeah. Well, if you look behind me, you see I got a copy.
I saw it.
Yeah. Yep. But listen, hold that up again. Go right ahead. I want people, when they come back to this episode, they'll see it. A very good read, my friends. I'll be honest and say I haven't read that entire book, but I read a few chapters that hey, guess what? I was all in, my sister. You pulled me. You know, I say, wait a minute, I'm going to keep doing this. So I'm giving another unconditional plug to Dr. Jacqueline King here on this Tuesday night GG Factor. Remember to inspire, to empower you, to give you all that you need to be a better version of yourself. I applaud you for what you're doing, Doctor. You keep doing what you're doing. Check me out on Thursday nights. No doubt, you can come into the Strive Masterclass. If you got pain points, you got bad habits, you're a procrastinator, you got things that you ignore are getting in the way of you being a better version of yourself, to activate what I call your AI is this, your authentic identification. The Masterclass will help you find those relationships, the who, what, when, where, and why on Thursday nights. And trust me, you come in, you get a version of this book, my little subtitle is step-by-step guide to activate peak performance. I don't need to see me, and I'll tell you something, game changer. It changed my life. And I tell people all the time, you know something, Dr. King? We all got 24/7, 168 hours a week. What are you doing with them? And I'm gonna leave you all with that. This lady right here is a clear example. She's taken it, she's ran with it. And boy, I know we're only gonna hear nothing but good things from you, Dr. King. Keep doing what you're doing. You're always welcome here. I look forward to one day you and I sharing a platform together because we're both about empowerment. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. We need you.
Thank you.
All righty. Be blessed.
You too.